We're jumping right into the next topic, which is why AI projects fail, the missing link of a strong data strategy. Our speakers, Barbara Peruskovic and Linda Stege, please come to the stage.
Hi everyone, welcome to our presentation. I will first start with a very quick introduction of who we are and our company, and then we'll dive straight into the topic of today's presentation, which is why so many AI projects fail and the missing link of a strong data strategy. So my name is Linda Stege and I'm here today with my colleague Barbara Peruskovic, and we've both been working in the field of math and AI for a very long time. And after a while, we figured out that unfortunately, data cannot solve all our problems. And today we work mostly with data strategy and culture, which is far messier than any of the data sets that I've ever seen. Oh, and by the way, we often get called Ghostbusters, but that's fine because we love to solve a good problem. Now, Barbara and I have been working together for over 10 years. And about 5 years ago, we decided to start a company. And our company is called DataCo's, but since we're from the Netherlands, we call it Data Coase. In our company, we provide training and strategy for diverse governmental, energy companies, financial companies, educational, and many more sectors. And in the past 5 years, we've actually helped to fine-tune and define many data strategies.
And actually, we have quite diverse customers. As you can see, we do some commercial customers like G-Star, T-Mobile, but our sweet spots are actually customers who are not driving profit. Our sweet spot are governmental organizations, institutions that really bring value to the society, like universities, and organizations that want to change the world with quite less budget than all other commercial. And usually what they also have in common is the fact that they have failed miserably with quite a lot of data and AI projects. They have done it quite a lot of times. They have spent quite a lot of money that they usually don't have. And when we come in, they are tired of guessing. They are tired of trying the new thing, the new hypes. They want strategic advice and they want answers. They usually call us after the big fours are there. So when we do, and then, you know, I'm a geek. Are there any geeks in this room? So if I ask you, what's the answer to all of the questions that are there? What's the universal answer? I'm a hitchhiker's guide, and the answer to everything is 42 exactly. So I would love to say to them, it's 42. But unfortunately, in 2024, the answer to all of our data and AI issue is not 42. We heard it this morning, it's 80. That's the magical number. And the magical number is actually the fact that for several surveys, we see that business does not understand. Business does understand the value of AI. Over 80% of executives and leaders are really grasping what it means to change your business with AI. Over stunning 87% of the organization are actually putting data and AI as their top investment priority. All of their money is going there. And still, we are failing. 80% of the time, AI projects are failing, which is twice the number of failing of IT projects. So, and there are quite a lot of reasons. And Paulina will tell you something about those reasons.
Yes, of course, we all want to know why so many AI projects fail. And actually, Ranti Research Institute has done quite an extensive research into this. And they came up with 5 leading causes, root causes of AI project failure. The first being that often our stakeholders or leaders don't know the actual problem that they want to solve with AI, or they don't communicate which problem that they want to solve. And I have seen a lot of AI models that have been trained to solve a completely different problem than that we want to solve, or have been trained on the wrong matrices. The second being is that we simply don't have the data. If the data is not there to train our AI model for our organization, we cannot use AI. Or if the data is not good enough, we cannot use it. The third being, and this is a very common one, is that we all want the shiny tool. We want the technique. Technology first and then the problem. So we find a tool that we really like, we want to implement it, we want that specific AI model, and we completely forget which problem we're actually trying to solve, or even worse, we're trying to find the problem. And then sometimes we simply don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the tools or the techniques to build our AI. And the last one, and this is actually quite common, and as I said in the beginning of our presentation, unfortunately data cannot solve all my problems, and also AI cannot solve everything in every use case. So what I see very often is that we find a problem that is simply just too big, too complicated to fix with AI, and then it will fail.
And as we said, we are real strategists. We know quite a lot about data-driven and bottom-up approaches and how to fix. We can code. I mean, we can do Python, but that's not our sweet spot. Our sweet spot when, the biggest mistakes are made. And when the biggest mistakes are made? We heard it in the presentation before. It's actually when leadership fails. And leadership-driven failures, that's when strategy kicks in. Because for example, optimizing for the wrong business problem. We had a really nice hospital, which was actually one of the leading hospitals in the world, who was trying to get help as many people as possible, saying we want to optimize the problem of our operational space, because in Netherlands we have a crowded country, so we don't have space to build, so we have to optimize. We are like, and we will try to fix every minute that there is, like shipping it in, shipping it out, not because of the profit, because of the fact that we are really trying to help so much people. And this was a really nice strategy. We thought it. We worked with universities, with startups, with researchers from the hospital itself, and we cracked the problem. We fixed optimization. You can just come in and we will precisely know when you have to get out of that operational room, and we will fix everything, clean everything, and the next one can go in. We never implemented it. Did you know why? Because the top surgeons are artists, and you don't cut in artists' time. And also the reason why people were coming to this hospital was not the fact that we have the best efficiency time, was the fact that we had those top surgeons. All of the time, we had a perfect thing, solving something that we should never try to solve. And then the other one we always see is using AI to solve simple problems. And the one that we usually see with financial institutions, and we work for quite a lot, is fraud detection, using AI and machine learning to detect fraud. When the simple, no, you cannot die twice, will probably prevent quite a lot of misused cases in fraud. So we see that we actually use AI for if-then-else questions of even something as stupid as answering your email. There's beautiful math products we are setting to solve problems that should, actually to do tasks that should never be done. Overconfidence in AI. Quite a lot of our leaders are looking for way out. And when you don't have a way out, then you actually put your confidence in something that IT departments comes in, or some other hype, and think that that's going to magically solve all your problems. And even if the product is good, which we usually see products are quite good, you try to implement something which was not optimized for your organization. You think you will buy it, you will put it into your organization, tomorrow everything is solved, and you can go to your board meeting and say, we are now in green, we are not red anymore. But you underestimate time and costs. But these are the easy questions. If you really think about it, if you really talk with business people and you explain all those things to them, they will say, yes, we understand, and we can grasp this, and we can actually put aside this kind of failures. And still, 50% of them will also fail. How many of you were at the key presentation this morning? Did you hear the key presentation? 7 since? Yeah. And how many of you have actually agreed with the fact, and do you know actually how the Kodak failed? How many of you did the Kodak fail story? Yeah. And you know what the problem with that story is? It's totally not true. The reason why people call us in, and actually the reason why they call us Ghostbusters, because we go after the ghosts. And let's just bust this myth. Because Kodak did not fail, because they did not jump on the technology train. In contrary. Kodak was, usually people say Kodak was blinded by their success, they didn't want to, so they missed the digital technology. But that's not true. Actually, Kodak was leading and invented the first digital camera in 1975 by Stephen Samson, and he was an engineer working at Kodak. It was not a nice thing. It was a toaster, you know, and it took 20 seconds to take one picture, but it was state of the art at the time. But people say, yeah, but you know what? That same Steve Samson said, it's cute, but don't tell anybody about it, because we don't want to invest money. So yes, they found out the technology, but they didn't want to invest. But that's also not true, because actually the company spent around 5 billion on research and development related not just for producing cameras, but the field of digital imaging. 1970s, guys, they invested so much money. And if just to put it into perspective, this little guy, does everybody know who that is? That's Rover, NASA. It's actually, yeah. This little guy, to bring them on Mars, costed 1.5 billion. So quite less. Or the research and development budget of Apple in 2010 was 2.4. Did you see the amount of money that they actually spent to increase this? So yes, they were willing, like all of us now, willing to spend quite a lot of money on AI. But they said, you know what? They had the money and they wanted it, but they actually were going to that sin of pride, you know? They wanted to be the best. They wanted actually to focus on that film quality instead of digital simplicity. And also, that one is also not true. It was true for the first prototype, you know, that big toaster thing that they wanted to build. But later on, they produced models that are quite simple and easy to use and relatively cheap. So they jumped on that wagon. But they said, yeah, but then they missed the paradigm, you know, they missed the real disruption. And the real disruption, they missed the fact that when people started using cameras, which emerged on the phones, people started actually sharing photos instead of printing them. And even this one is not entirely true. Because Kodak acquired a photo sharing site called Photo in 2008. Guys, this is way before Facebook existed. They wanted to push this. Do you know what the mistake that they made? They focused on efficiency. They actually tried not only to share, but also to get people to utilize their services that they already had in a better way, because it was more efficient. And they are focused on maximizing their profits. And I see in almost every presentation today that focus is creeping in. We are using a technology which is kind of disruptive, and we are focusing on maximizing things and profits in one process. How do you think that will go? And this is a common trap.
Yes, this is actually the trap of marginal thinking. And this is when an established company that seemingly does everything right, that's tried everything and did the right things, still fails. And this is because they focus on their established, already existing customers and already existing services. There's actually a beautiful book written about it by Clayton Christensen that we really recommend if you would like to read it. But we also see this marginal thinking in AI. If you look at these numbers, you see that most of the AI projects focus on efficiency, on creating a better customer experience or making more processes more reliable. But actually only 4.7% of AI projects does something new, is an innovation. Now, this is where data strategy comes in, and unfortunately, we cannot give you a framework, a standard data strategy framework that you can just implement tomorrow. I cannot give you an action plan that's easy to follow and you can just do. However, we can teach you about some of the practices that we use as strategists on our day-to-day job and that we have used in all the data strategy projects over the past few years. The first being is to really focus on the job to be done. Look at what your customer actually wants. What do they want to experience? What's their job to be done? Not just focus on margins, but look at what they want to achieve. And that's where you should adapt your strategy to. The second being to establish a framework in which you can actually measure your long-term goals, the organizational goals, instead of just focusing on short-term wins and margins. And the third one is that our customers, even when they hire us to create a data strategy, a lot of times ask us for a specific solution. I want this, I want self-service BI, I want a data warehouse, a new platform. And we always present them with all alternative paths. Show them what else can be done and what the outcome then could be. We always give them counterfactual analysis. And the last one, and this is not the least one, is to avoid the Turing trap.
Actually, if you want to remember something from our presentation, please just remember the Turing trap. And the Turing trap is something that's called by some of the misbeliefs and one of the biggest misconceptions about AI, especially among researchers, is the fact that we think that it needs to replace tasks that human beings are doing and it needs to do it efficiently. And you know, this is not the case, because then we are going into that marginal thinking of efficiency, and we are not creating the strategic advantage for our organization. We are just optimizing, and there are a ton of other ways to optimize instead of using AI, which are much far better. And there is also one other thing with the Turing trap. It's not also not beneficial for your own company, but it's also hurting the society. The way how we now think and approach AI, it's not going to change the world. And if it changes, it's changing in a way that's actually causing us to go into part of inequality, environmental issues, using ChatGPT, which is 3 bottles of that water every time you ask a stupid question, just to be, you know, to answer what? To automate a task we should not be doing at all. But there is a sweet spot. There is something why we are still there 30 years after the first line of code that I programmed, and I still believe that we can do it. And that's the fact that we can avoid this trap by actually realizing that there is far more opportunity in automating humans to do new tasks, instead of automating what already everybody is doing. Because, you know, if you really want strategic advantage, you have to go beyond, and you have to dare to abandon maybe some stupid things that you're already doing. After all, that's what strategy is.
Yes, strategy is about setting yourself apart from the competition. It's no matter about being better at what you do, it's about being different at what you do. That's what this beautiful quote says. Guys, I hope you liked our presentation. I hope we inspired you or learned you something. If you have any questions, or if you would like a list of references that we have used in this presentation, please feel free to reach out. And also this, actually we're powered by UNDP and empowering the women in data and AI, and we do a lot of coaching projects. So if there are any female data experts looking for mentorship, free of charge, advice, anything we can do, just send us a shout out at LinkedIn, and let's conquer this world. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. We do have time. Well, firstly, a little thank you from us.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Barbara and Linda? No? Well, then I guess you can catch them afterwards in the hallway.
Thank you.
So thank you again.
Thank you.